So did you guys see that? That was like a gnat or something. The most commonly asked questions about real estate, according to Google anyway. So for this video, I'm going to be using this really cool website called answerthepublic.com. And what you can do with it is obviously search keywords and then pull up question queries based on whatever search words that you type in. So I'm just going to do real estate and we'll see what we get. And I'm just going to answer the most popular questions with regards to real estate that people have asked Google, and we'll see what we get. All right, so what we've got here, we've got 150 questions showing real estate out of 734 results, and I'm just going to use the most asked ones because there's a lot of questions on here. So moving around the wheel here, we've got, are real estate taxes deductible? Easy answer is yes, real estate taxes are tax deductible. It's one of the benefits of owning a home because you get a higher tax deduction. We're going to skip the rest of those. Like I said, I'm just going to do the top one. So the next one is, can real estate agents have tattoos? Yes, but potentially no. It really depends. So if you're working for a team or for, you're under a brokerage, they may have office policies that don't allow you to have colored hair, tattoos, all of those kinds of things. But in general, no. A real estate agent, yes, they can have tattoos. It's just personal preference because most of the time real estate agents are self-employed. We're subcontractors, so no one can really tell us how to do our jobs. But there is like a standard real estate law and code of ethics, but none of those mention anything about tattoos. Next one would be how real estate fortunes are made. That's kind of a weighted question, but I will say most people, if you're a homeowner, for one, you're 70% more wealthier than the average American. So the goal should be to own a home. But then to create a fortune, start small. Use the house hacking method. If you buy and live in a property, not as an investment property, you can use all of the first-time home buyer options. So there's lower down payments. There's lots of incentives there. If you're going to be in an owner-occupied home, live there for 1-2 years, however long, and then you can use refinance and cash out some of the money and use that as a down payment on the next home, rent out the previous home, move into the next one, and just keep doing that process over and over and over. And that's how most real estate fortunes are made. The next one is what real estate agents do. Wow, another loaded question. But for most part, real estate agents are educated in contract law, right? So when you go through real estate school, they don't teach you about marketing and all of that. They teach you about real estate law. So we're very familiar with contracts, helping people understand what they're signing and getting you to the closing table without getting sued. That's the goal. In addition to that, real estate agents, because we are business owners and self-employed for the most part, we are marketing ourselves. So we do a lot of marketing, promotional things, open houses, branding, billboards, you see all of that stuff, wrapped cars. And then for the clients, everyone can set it up a little bit differently, but for myself, I pay for professional photography, we do professional videography, and then we, of course, help you move through all of the people that you need, contractors, title people, lenders, whatever you would need to get your real estate goals across the finish line. And that's what a real estate agent does. On the buyer side, it doesn't cost you anything to use a real estate agent. And then on the seller side, it does cost, but that's kind of like a wash because you didn't have to pay anything when you bought the house. So that's a whole nother video, and I've actually done other videos on that, but I can go in more detail. Comment below if you want me to do a more in-depth video about how a real estate agent conducts their business and how we're paid and all of that stuff, because that's going to be way too long for this video. But in general, that's what they do. They help you buy and sell real estate, and they help you with marketing, they help you with contracts, and depending on which state you're in, you may or may not need like real estate attorneys involved at all, but a real estate agent, all of the contracts are written, at least in Oklahoma, by attorneys anyway, so it just saves you money. Before we jump to the next question, if you're new here, my name is Ryan Hensey. I run the Top Hat Connections real estate team with Keller Williams, serving Tulsa and the surrounding areas. So if you're looking to make a move now or in the future, I would love to help you make that smooth transition to Oklahoma. Without further ado, let's get back to the video. Next one, when real estate prices are expected to decrease. Well, that is a subject that is definitely on everyone's mind. So currently, based on all the information and data from the real estate gurus of the world, interest rates are expected to continue to decrease moving forward. At the time of this video, it is January 2024. So moving into this year, they're expecting rates to fall. And when rates fall, more buyers are going to jump into the market, which is projected to cause an increase in home prices, because higher demand for housing means higher prices. It's always a simple supply and demand with real estate. Who really knows what could happen? You know, there's no crystal ball, but statistics and buyer behavior is pointing to higher prices because of lower interest rates this year in 2024. So, all that to say, prices, when are they expected to decrease? They're really not. I mean, there's always ebbs and flows in the market, but when you look back through history, home prices historically have always increased. So it doesn't really matter when you get in the game, just get in the game, because your investment will grow. There may be ups and downs, but in the long term, it's always going to get more expensive. The next one is, where is real estate the cheapest in the US? That would just be another quick Google search, but I will say Oklahoma, where I do business, is one of the cheapest places to live. The cost of living is very low. Groceries aren't too expensive. For example, you can get a home in Haskell, Oklahoma, which is not too far out from like a major city. I would say about 25 to 30 minutes from like a major downtown area. And you can build a brand new home in Haskell right now for $179,000. Definitely very affordable. Obviously, there are pockets of Oklahoma that are very expensive, but real estate's always based on location. So there's always more expensive and less expensive areas in any state. But as a whole, Oklahoma is one of the most cost-effective and affordable places to live. Next one up here is, which real estate estimate is most accurate? Ooh, this is a big one. So I know everybody likes to talk about Zillow estimates, right? And rightly so. Zillow, Realtor.com, those are probably the two most popular real estate search websites for the consumer. So I understand that a lot of people use those estimates. Now, I'm not saying that they're good or bad, but here is some things to note, right? So Realtor.com or Zillow, either one, they've never actually been to your property specifically. They only know the information that has been reported to the courthouse, right? So that information is being pulled off of courthouse records. So as homes sell, things get updated and they update their estimates. For example, there was a story, this was from Zillow. So there was an estimate, there were a group of townhomes, right? So they were all boom, 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 townhomes. Well, the one in the middle burnt down, and that lot consequently sold for $50,000. Well, Zillow doesn't know that the house burnt down. They think that the townhome sold for $50,000. Well, that consequently dropped the value of all of the townhomes next to it significantly, as you can imagine. So that's where it comes down to. It's a great starting point, but know that those places do not know the full extent of your property. So they're only basing it off of numbers and data that has been inputted into the information. They don't know data that's been inputted into the tax records. So they don't know if you put in granite and the home had laminate. They don't know if you put in smart home features. They don't know if you put in a pool. They don't know if you updated the brick and did all the painting. And they don't know if you put in new fixtures and stainless steel hardware. They don't know if you swapped out the cabinet. So all of those things are things that add value to a home in most cases. And the websites don't know that. They only know your bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, when the house was built. They don't know those features that are seen with your eyes. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But that's why Zillow estimates can be significantly off, is because it's data-based, not in-person based. Because like when an appraiser comes out and appraises your house, he physically goes to your house, goes inside your house, measures everything by hand, and then he comes up with the value. So an appraiser is going to have the most accurate assessment of your property. A realtor can also do a very accurate estimation of your property as well, because we're cross-referencing, of course, the numbers, but also what's actually in front of our eyes when we come to your house. And the question is, which estimate is most accurate? Well, there's your answer. So an appraiser, a realtor, and then Realtor.com and Zillow are a good starting place, but don't take that as like 100%. This is what a home is or isn't worth. Next up, we've got, it says, which real estate tax? That's an odd question. I wonder if that's a mistake. But which real estate tax? Well, so real estate taxes, maybe that's what they're asking. This is going to be dependent, of course, on your county that you're in. So for example, in Oklahoma, Tulsa County has higher taxes than, say, Wagner County, which is more of a suburb county. So the major metropolitan areas, they're going to have higher taxes than the more suburban or rural areas. That pretty much goes for any state that you're in. You do have to pay property taxes. When you're renting, it's kind of factored into your rent. But when you own a home, the property taxes are paid automatically for you by the lender if you have a mortgage. But if you don't have a mortgage and you paid cash for the house, you're going to get a tax bill. So that's basically cut and dry. That's how it is. The next one is why real estate WSO. Somebody actually typed that in. I'm going to skip that one. Why real estate agents... Wait. I think I read one of those backwards. That's okay. We're just going to keep going. The most searched answer in that column is why real estate is a good investment. They flipped it on me, that's why. Anyway, why is real estate a good investment? Well, kind of going back to my other point about if prices go down, prices are always going up. Historically, on a national scale, real estate appreciates, means goes up in value about 4% year over year. So that's a good investment. In addition to that, depending on crazy things that happen in the market, for example, over the last few years, we had that crazy deal that I can't really say because it messes with the video, but everybody knows we were all locked inside. Through that, real estate exploded. I mean, in Oklahoma, our prices jumped like 4 times. It was like 60% or something like that, which is crazy. Oklahoma has never seen that kind of an increase. And even with that, we're still one of the cheapest places to live. However, that's where it's like you can never really time the market. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but get in the market. Your investment is always going to appreciate in value. So it's a good investment. I mean, is it the best investment? I think so, because people always need food and shelter. So either one of those industries is a good industry to be in. So that's my take on it. Other reasons that it's a good investment is you're locking in your cost of living. So when you're renting, your rent can go up every year, but when you own a home, your payment's always going to be the same for the next 15 or 30 years, whatever loan program you decided to go with. Yes, they could raise your property taxes, but property taxes do not go up in value as quickly as real estate prices do. So it's much more cost effective if you're going to be living in an area for a longer period of time to just buy the house and not rent. Because then if you decide to move later, you can sell that, cash out the equity and have made some money, or you could even rent it out and have an investment property. So it's kind of a win-win either way. So I would say if you're planning on being somewhere for like 5 years or more, probably better to just buy the house. The next one is, will real estate crash? That's another one that I hear all the time. Kind of goes back to the other thing I talked about with rates coming down. So there is so much buying happening in the real estate world, be it from consumers or from corporations buying up real estate. I really can't see a crash coming. Other factors that contributed to the crash last time were bad loans that were being given out to people that should not have been getting loans. And when all those bills came due, well, they couldn't pay them and crash, right? That can't happen anymore. There's way too many safety measures in place and red tape. That's why when you go apply for a loan now, they ask for every document and your firstborn child and birth certificates. No, I'm kidding. They don't actually ask for all that. But it's a ridiculous amount of things that they need because they have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they have done their due diligence that this person that's applying for a loan can actually pay this loan. And that's a good thing because that's what's preventing the crash of '08. Or another crash like what we had in 2008. So will real estate crash? No one knows for sure, but there are a lot of safety measures in place to prevent that from happening. And the way things are right now and going forward, I can't see it happening anytime soon. You may see a slowdown in the rise of prices and homes not selling quite as fast and going back to a more balanced market where homes maybe take 30 to 45 days to sell versus selling in a week or 24 hours, like we're seeing in some areas still to this day. So keep that in mind. There's really nothing saying that the housing market will crash. And again, even the people in 2008 when real estate did crash, the people that were still buying homes in 2008, those homes are worth a lot of money today. So real estate always goes up. Even if there is a market correction in the long run, it's going to be better to be in the housing game versus not. That's all the questions that are on here. So I thought this was kind of interesting. It gave me some ideas for other videos. If you'd like to know any other topics about real estate that wasn't mentioned here, just comment them below. I always like getting more insight into what people actually want to know about real estate. So I'm happy to make those videos for you. Hope you guys have a great day. If you like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe for more real estate information, as well as local content as well. And I'll see you in the next video.